Greetings. When we last left, we set the stage to send Sister Light on her expedition. Um, we're sort of ready now to get her into an adventure. This is going to be very choppy and it's going to be very clunky. So you're going to have to bear with me. I am unused to this style of game, these rules specifically, but this style of game in general. And I tend to structure my adventures, narratives, tests, and scenarios very differently than a powered by the apocalypse style game tends to do. We'll see how this goes. So, the premise is that Sister Light she's taken the Aethon from the Abbey in the Terminus to the Outlands. And she is on her adventure. She's been out here for a couple weeks, several weeks actually. And she hasn't had much luck. She has her codex, which is the bank of knowledge that she has compiled and is using to track down leads here in the Outlands, trying to find some precursor information, maybe a vault, maybe some tech. The goal, obviously, is to get to the beacon, which is her background vow. That hasn't happened so far. She hasn't found much. She's a little bit disheartened, and she is at this Navis point in the Canucks sector, controlled primarily by the Wolf clan, though this is not. This is simply like some kind of brown dwarf or something. And she was here looking for like a dark planet, like a planet that, right? So a brown dwarf, a totally burned out star. It's just a gravitational. It can't collapse down. It's not big enough to have collapsed. So it is largely just a warm but not super right gravitational lump. Still massive. It's a sun, for crying out loud, but certainly would not produce enough energy to sustain life around any of the planets. And so the dead planets around it, but there are none. She was looking for one and hoping to find something on there. But indeed, her readings for the past several days have found her nothing. There is nothing here. This is an empty system. It works as an anchorage because it stops the Eidolon flows, but it doesn't work for her purpose. So she's a little bit bummed out, but she does catch sort of just a tiny little message bleeping out across the cosmos. She can probably pinpoint it as coming from Leth, this system here. But, right? And so that the actual contents of the message are fairly straightforward. It is staticky and weak, but it is the message from Pack Commander Rykov to all ships from, all clans, free traders. Let's see, what would it, right? So it's largely trying to name all, right? Raiders, pirates, independent contractors, ne'er-do-wells, whatever, right? It's, a warning to all ships, foreign and domestic. The system of Leth has been interdicted by authority of Wolf High Command and Pack Leader Skarza. Any foreign ships, any foreign or civilian ships found in Leth will be boarded and then searched and then commandeered or destroyed. And that message repeats, right? To all ships, free civilian ships, free traders, foreign vessels, blah 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 blah. Right, the system has been interdicted, And that in and of itself is not amazingly interesting. Though why? That's a good question. But what Sister Light sort of detects as she gets this over, so there's a static to it. It has traveled some distance. We don't know how far this actually is in light years or whatnot. It is definitely pretty far, though. And so it is staticky and weak. But she also detects this little, almost a warble, almost some kind of underlying signal within a signal that causes the voice maybe to modulate in a weird way, or something in the volume, right? And she just detects that there's a weirdness here that doesn't belong. So she does analyze the signal, and she is going to try to figure out sort of what that underlying second signal is. And even though it probably is going to suck, I'm going to try to gather information. I just want to do them, like I'm just trying to do a move. I'm trying to get the hang of what are these moves like, and how are we going to move the story forward, and so on and so forth. So she's going to run this through her analysis. She's going to work on it, right? So she's got the headset on. She's doing the Ohura, right? She holds the earpiece, and she's dialing it in and trying to get this underlying modulation that sort of makes the main signal a little wonky. She's going to roll wits. Oh, yeah. And we did have episode 1. I'm sorry. We do have a sign. So professional grade here. Episode 1, echoes. So she catches an echo within the echo here. So she is going to... Let's take a look at the sister. She has a wit of 3. So her wits are 3. But she didn't really get any pluses for this. So I think 3 is the point where you have, right? So if you have a 3 and you add 3.5, then your average roll is 6.5, which doesn't help us much. But so let's pretend that's a 6, the average roll. That means half the time the 10-sided dice will be lower, half the time higher. So it gives a 25, 50, and 25% chance. Now that's not quite what it is, because half the time she'll roll a 4 and get a 7, and half the time she'll get a 6. So it is essentially 75, probably 80% chance she gets a hit or something, right? Thereabouts. So let's try. Let's see how she goes. And I've played with it just to see, but let's try it. She gets a weak hit. She rolls an 8 total. D6 plus 3. Gets an 8 and a 7, so a weak hit. So she does get more information, right? Is that true? Oh, and I marked momentum up. That's she does get a momentum, but she doesn't have any to start. So she does get. Let me read. New insight complicates your quest. Done. Take +1 momentum. So let me type in the message. I'm gonna pause for 1 second, type in the message, and then we'll do the result of her investigation, gather info. So we're gonna say gather info, and that's wit, and she gets a weak hit. Done. So what does she learn? So she gets +1 momentum. So we do mark momentum up. So what does she learn? So she gets the signal. We're going to say she gets the signal, right? And so there's a second signal underneath. There's another message riding on this message. It is hidden and, encrypted in some way. And so she does get it, and it is, right? It is a weak message. It's even harder to hear, but she can drown out the first one. She can just mask out the first one to get this, isolate the second one. So that would hide its presence. So this signal would go out almost like the signal or whatever's generating the signal has been hacked in such a way to produce this new message, right? And so it is, you know, greetings. This is Yaroslav. At Exile Station, orbiting Leth 3, the gas giant Leth 3. We'll make sure we note that. We are prisoners here. We are prisoners of the Wolf Clan. And are in dire need of assistance. We are on emergency power. And even that is failing. We have lost access to deck 3. We have children on board. And they have fallen ill and need medical attention. If you have any humanity in you, if you have please help us. Right? That's the message underneath. And it repeats just like the other message. What's the complication? Oh, God, this is where everything is continuously a pain in the ass. Complication. So I need to think of a thing. You know what? This is not science magic. This is going to be science. The message is old. She thinks they might already... The message is years old. They are likely already dead. Right? The message is years old. They're probably dead. Nonetheless, nonetheless, it does peak, right? I mean, first off, if they are there, or if someone is there, they, I mean, there is fast and light communications. I am not sure that this is it, though, right? So she would know that. So I'm going to say the message is years old. They're likely dead. They might still be, someone might still be there. They might still be prisoners there, right? Someone might have lived. So I think she's prone to going. Plus, this is sort of the inciting incident. If she doesn't go, the adventure's over. So this is where the GM looks at you and goes, well, what are you going to do? If she's going to go. But she's going to go. But there's no good way there. There is no path, right? No drift path there. She's going to have to make one. And I'm going to say that so she's going to undertake an expedition. So we will indeed do that. So let me find that. She's going to undertake an expedition. Because she just doesn't know. She can't set a course. It's not a known route. And I'll be honest, I don't think she feels the need to rush, because this message is years old. So whatever's happened has happened. And now she's either going to, clean up a mess, or see a bunch of dead bodies, or whatever, right? So I think she's going to undertake an expedition. So I do need to figure that out. So we'll undertake an expedition to Leth. So let me see if I can I mark that on her sheet? I might be able to, but I don't know for sure. Progress, right? Add. Expedition to Leth. Now, one thing I don't love about the game is that everything pretty much, like everything in the game essentially is 40 hit points, kind of, right? It's 10 boxes, 4 checks per box, and you either mark them off 12 hit points at a time, 8 hit points at a time, 4 hit points at a time, 2 or 1, right? Like so this could, I mean, it can't be epic. That's crazy. That's 40 ticks on here. It can't really be extreme unless we wanted to take, multiple sessions or whatever, right? So we're going to just say this is going to be troublesome. So if she marks it, we're going to get 3. So it's going to take 1, 2, 3, 3 plus or 4 hits effectively to get it. This is not super dangerous. She's taken her time. She's not being rushed. It's empty space as far as she knows. So we should hopefully be able to make it fairly quickly. When she set a course. Well, that's unfortunate, right? That's too bad, because undertake an expedition is not one of the things she can do. That's way later. That's fine. She's gonna do it anyway, damn it. We're undertaking an expedition. So we're gonna stay vigilant, right? She's not gonna move at speed. She's gonna stay vigilant. We're gonna use our best stat in this case, and we're going to try as best we can. Now, I don't think there's gonna. So we'll So let's roll that first. So wits, undertaking an expedition. She is traveling to Leth. Submit. Strong hit. Okay. On a strong hit, you reach a waypoint, envision the waypoint, mark location as per the rank of the expedition. Okay. So we don't do much. We just mark. And I think waypoints are like this. So I actually think. So we have what? 1, 2 of these. Although I do believe finish an expedition is a progress move. So we could literally roll it right now. So we're not going to do that. I'm going to say that we actually go I don't want to add another waypoint in there. I don't think that's actually appropriate. Like an honest to God gravitational anchor or whatever. I am going to say, you know what? I'm just gonna say she just, I mean, in this case, she is just moving and she gets whatever to the halfway point of that for now. Because I'm thinking actually that part of this might be travel within. You know what? That we'll do that. So we make it to left. So that's our 3 progress. That's our waypoint. So we pop into the system. I'm not sure exactly how big a system it is, but we're going to say Leth 3 is obviously closer to the sun. We are far out. You know, maybe we are orbiting some rockball planet, right? Leth 6 or something on the edge of the system. And what we and the what makes this expedition then what makes this continue the expedition is the fact that we have been quiet. There are indeed patrol ships here, potentially a base somewhere here. We don't know if that's true, but we do sense, let's say, 2 patrol ships. And they're not circling Exile Station, but they are, you know, in orbits around some of these planets closer into Leth 3. So first thing, we get a stay vigilant. So wits, strong hit. We make it to the edge of the system, but must continue the expedition because, you know what, we'll roll, because it doesn't really matter. The number of patrol ships does not matter. This is not a simulation, but just for flavor's sake, let me roll 2d4. There's four patrol ships, wolf patrol ships here. Any one of them probably outguns. I think the Athos has weapons. Any one of these ships outguns the Athos, though. You might be faster, maybe. I think the Athos is probably a pretty nimble gal there. So we do need to continue the expedition. So that's the first roll. So we've marked, we have 3 progress. So on to the second roll. And now, though, we have to, I think we have to change tactics here, right? We either have to move at speed, hoping to just get there before them, or just outrun them. Although they will know we're there, I think, if we run at speed. Or we have to stay under the radar. Obviously, I do not like staying under the radar. That seems like we're in trouble there. But let's I think it makes sense, though, right? We're going to try to keep under the radar. So, unfortunately, we're going to roll on Shadow. We don't have a lot going for us there. So, we will run silent, sort of, run deep. I mean, maybe we could, yeah, you know, I mean, I think we're just going to go with the game as it is, right? We're not going to try to find wits or anything like that. We're just going to say, Shadow it is. Do the thing. We're going to get Telly strong hits. I guarantee you here. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's a miss. No. We get a shitty score. And we're going to miss. So, on a miss, we are waylaid by a crisis, arrive at a waypoint to confront an immediate hardship. Do not mark progress. Pay the price. So the most obvious outcome is going to happen, which is that we are detected. So our second roll is under the radar. Miss, and we are detected. The WSS Kharkov is in pursuit. And anything else? Right? So immediately one of these ships starts peeling off. Does another ship start peeling off? Do we get a mess? Are they freaking bored that day? We're just gonna I'm not gonna oracle it up in this case. I'm just going to roll a I'm gonna put my little dice over here. I'm gonna roll a d12. I'm gonna say on a 1, 2, 3, or 4, 3. Okay. So we're getting 2 ships, which sucks because I need to name another ship. WS Cargo, join and yeah. The Novaya. Sure. That's fine. Novaya. Novaya. They are in pursuit. Oh, that ain't good. That is not great. I think our options at that point, so we can either try to evade them. We can either evade them. We can race them, which is probably the better option, right? We can use edge to try to sort of race them to. So we're on the outer edge of the system. We're going to say that there are. We're going to say that there are 6 orbits in the system. The 1 and 2 orbits are close. The third orbit is actually relatively far. So give me a second. Let's make a new system here. Let's pretend. Let's call this the Leth system. And give me a second. Do we need a grid? That sucks a little bit. Okay. We're gonna copy these guys. Actually, let's copy the whole shebang. Copy. Turn off the grid. And we will paste. There we go. Okay. That's cool. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to put this here and make it big, right? And that'll be Leth. That's the star. What sucks is so let me, okay, let's try that one more time. There you go. There is Leth. We're going to copy and paste, and we'll put, so we have 2 systems reasonably close. I suppose this is where a grid would help, because I could snap crap to a grid a little bit. We'll have 2 planets reasonably close. Probably a too warm planet and a not too a slightly better planet. That'll be Leth 1 and 2. Let's enable grid snapping for the moment. And there's no grid. Let's put a grid up. Gosh darn it. Okay, well that's me being a dummy. So we'll snap, crackle, and pop. That's a little too close. I just want them to be on the same line, if that makes any sense. Like I want them to be on this horizontal line. So those are our 2 planets, Leth 1 and 2. 3 big old gas giant. So that'll snap, but that'll be a little bigger, which is unfortunate because now it doesn't quite fit. There's Leth 3. I like that. Okay, so we're I'm sorry it's taking time, but we're and then we have 4, 5, and 6, right? So probably another gas giant, and then copy, and we'll have 2 rock balls. And it's not perfect, it's not great, but at least, you know, gives me sort of a little bit of a vibe as to what the hell's going on. And a little bit of a visual, which I do appreciate. And I don't like any of these ships that I bought, unfortunately, but that's my fault. And these will disable grid snapping. Copy, paste. And we'll put our guy on here. Hold on, we'll get our bad boy. Copy, paste. So we come in far away, kind of, right? And we do have 2 ships. We have the Kharkov. And the WSS. Now, they're not that big, by the way, Novaya. And we're just going to put them on random spots here. We're going to put them, I'm going to roll a d6 for the Kharkov. So it is close-ish. And the Novaya, it's not going to be around 3. It's going to be around 4. I'm going to say that the other 2 ships, thus, are in the inner system. And maybe what happened is when we came in, we went into orbit around L6. That'll be just the naming convention will be, right? So we went into orbit around L6. We didn't see this guy, who might also have been in orbit around L6. So when we started to make our shadowy move, all of a sudden, jetting out of, you know, nowhere comes the Kharkov. And then soon afterward, although we wouldn't see it for a little bit, you know, coming around this gas giant is the Novaya. So now that leaves us in dire straits. What we can do, we could probably beat them both to L5. And then hope that we can either find a moon or, right, something to sit on, hide behind, whatever, right, get out of their sensors and dodge. So that would be shadow. Well, or we can beat them there. How's that? But we still might require a shadow at some point to get us out of there. Um, I don't want to be in combat yet. I don't think we're in combat yet. I think, frankly, we're still in exploration. We're still in expedition mode, right? Except that we are now avoiding the danger, maybe. Let's see. Let's see. What's gain ground look like? So I'm trying to look at the different move. Well, no, I think we are in combat technically in a weird way. I think they're trying to hail us, right? For sure. Right? Unidentified ship. State your name and purpose. Turn off your engines and stand down. Right, that whole thing. That's kind of that's where they're at. So we're trying to get to L3, L3, and the orbital is Exile Station. That's what we would like to get to. Okay. Give me a second. I will consider my situation and we will move on from there. So I think we'll put another progress track up. Escape the WSS patrol ships or defeat them, but and it's dangerous. It's not just troublesome, it's got to be dangerous, right? Um and I think what she's going to do technically, so I suppose she's entering the fray in game terms. Um, so I'm going to say though that in this case, at the very least, she is caught in a trap or sizing up the situation, right? So before she takes any action that, you know, we are going to, um, right, she is going to be able to size up the situation. So she's going to have at least that small advantage of being able to use her wits. This one. So let's read it real quick. Right. So caught in a trap, sizing up the situation, wits. Um, so done. Hopefully she at least gets a hit. Weak hit. So that's okay. That's fine. That's fine. She is going to. So on a weak, strong hit, take both. On a weak hit, choose one. +2 momentum, or you are in control. I'm going to say we are in control. So we are in control. So let's we got to take notes now. Sorry about that, but we have to pursuit. SL must. We're going to say must enter the fray. And Wyatt's wits is so what she's going to do is she's trying to plot a course, the best course possible to L5 to get her there to beat the Kharkov there, to beat the Novaya there. And she's probably going to try to do something like either slingshot or maybe orbit around, like have a plot a course that orbits around it and slingshots her out, right? And gets her, on a course that she can just glide past the Novaya, and it is unable to sort of pursue, and then that'll get her to L3 before both of these guys. So I'm going to say that with her role, she is in control. Course is plotted. She knows, and right, she's done the math. The computers are set and ready, and she thrusts and starts on course. And of course, the Kharkov is still in pursuit. But she is in control. Like none of them know what she's doing. None of them have moved to make her plan not viable. So we're going to try to gain ground. So we're now going to try to gain ground. So let's write the notes here. Enter the fray. Wits. Sister Lake plots a course to slingshot off of L5. Thus, outrunning the Kharkov and outmaneuvering the Novaya and slinging past it to get to L3, hours ahead. Right, that's the plan. So she does that, and she gets a weak hit. We are in control. Next move. We're going to gain ground. And we're going to do wits, right? So we are, right, that's the idea. Cleverly gaining leverage. I suppose it's going to be edge. Okay, it's going to be edge. We've already plotted. Now we're executing the plot, right? Does her ship do anything? I don't think it does. I don't think her ship is... You're armed. Can comfortably transfer when you advance. You may... No, okay, done. Okay. Let's roll edge, I suppose, and hope for the best. It's another weak hit. Ooh, the action score was great. God damn it. Darn those dice. Okay. So we're getting a weak hit. On a hit, you stay in control. So we do stay in control. We do get a weak hit. And we can mark progress or add one on our next move that's not a progress move. I'm gonna choose to mark progress. But we are still in control. So that is okay. You're in control and +2 progress. So we hit the thrusters. The two ships are in pursuit. You know, and I don't know how we envision space combat versus how I envision Traveler. It's a fairly slow affair that takes hours because we're crossing huge distances or whatever, right? So this is going to take her a while to sort of see this through. Um, so we're going to say she's approaching L5. This guy is coming. This guy is coming this way. So they are trying to close the pincers. They, of course, are telling her, continuing to tell her to stand down. I don't know if there's anything else she can do different because she's not going to strike. Um, which I think sort of shitty, right? Like, again, there almost needs to be a little bit of, although I mean, it just comes down to all the moves come down to mark progress, gain momentum, you're in control, done. So I suppose there's nothing super, you know, super tactical that you can do here. She is just going to, and I don't think there's any other real sort of thing she can do. So she's going to gain ground again. And we'll say on the next one, like she's, and yeah, okay, that's fine. We're fine. So some time passes, right? And she's just executing the plan. So we're going to have to gain ground again. We are going to have to, right? We're in pursuit, we're fleeing, blah, blah, blah. We are going to fire that up one more time. It is edge, unfortunately, for us. We submit, we roll a 5. So it's another weak hit. So that's maybe okay. Now, what we, I suppose you could. I suppose she could, quote unquote, take a +1 to her next move and then pretend that strike essentially means she is executing her slingshot maneuver kind of thing, right? And sort of surprising them. That would be a, you know, an interpretation of that because on a strong hit on strike, you mark progress twice, which would give her 4 boxes on that thing. Um, you know, technically allowing her to, uh, you know, giving her the ability to maybe roll on the progress to finish the fight, as it were. Or she just marks progress. Like she could just mark progress right now and be up to 4. And gain 2 momentum's fine, but I don't know that it matters gaining momentum as much as it does. I suppose you can gain momentum knowing that you're going to burn momentum for a big move, right? Or some such. Um, but since we're still in control, none of them have maneuvered into position to strike. I'm going to mark progress again. So we're up to 4 progress. So we are approaching L5. So we are now ready to slingshot. Both the Novaya and the Krakow probably think they have me. And we are going to now slingshot. And I am. I'm going to pretend, okay, we're going to strike, right? Um, although that's a rough haul, because that's on a weak hit, mark progress twice, but you expose yourself to danger. You're in a bad spot. It's a little bit of a, but we would mark progress twice. That would literally get us to 8. But we don't have any bonuses. That's not great. Not great. But I think we need some kind of, right. This is the move right here, right? So I think gaining ground feels wrong. So we're gonna do the move. We're gonna strike, quote unquote. So we're gonna execute the slingshot maneuver. SL executes. But we're gonna allow ourselves to roll edge. Because iron doesn't make any sense. We are not shooting them at all. We are mostly still fleeing. Edge it is, baby. Let's do it. Strong hit. Nice. All right. So I like that a lot. We mark progress twice, dominate our foe, and stay in control. So we get 8 progress now. So we blow past them. The Novaya comes in, right, starts to feel the gravity. We slingshot past. And hell, probably execute a start executing a slingshot past L4 to bring us into orbit. The Novaya sort of passes us by and may indeed even be out of the fray for some time. The Kharkov is sort of left in the dust, having not executed a good, like the right, as clever a slingshot. So we're going to say the slingshot is the maneuver leaves the Novaya way out of position. And the Kharkov is falling behind. So I think that's pretty good. I think, so what happens when we take decisive action? If we're in control, roll the check as normal. Done. On a strong hit, you prevail. Let's do it. Let's conclude. Strong hit with a match. So we literally, again, we execute this. This guy is, turning around. This guy loses track of us, we're going to say, right? Strong hit with a match. We escape. We do escape. I'm going to mark progress on our expedition because that was really half the expedition was sneaking past these guys. So we're going to mark progress there also. And I think we can just clear this, right? We can just close this out. We don't have to do any more. Oh, I see. We could have done battle and just done it in a blur, quote unquote, right? Got it. So we blow past them. We are now in orbit around L3. This goes away, I believe. Can we just do that? No? Clear? Challenge, challenge. Oh, there's a countdown clock. I see. Okay. How do you delete this? Shouldn't you be able to delete this? No, no, I don't want to roll that. I just want to get rid of this. Modify. There we go. Okay, now we can delete. Okay, got it. All right, that's cool. Okay, a little bit of roll 20. This cheat sheet here. So we're gonna take, so with 8 progress, we take decisive action. Is a strong hit and a match. And I'm going to say, obviously, we reach L3. The WSS ships have lost us, so we don't have to worry about them right now. Lost track of us. How's that? And we can mark progress on our expedition. And indeed, I'm just gonna we can mark. You know what? I'm gonna mark progress twice. I mean, not to cheat or whatever, but I think having lost track of these two, like they've lost track of us. That's the idea, right? That's what we said. So this guy is, probably turning around, and he might end up orbiting L5 or something. This guy is searching for us around L4. We have ended up around L3 in orbit. And I'm going to say that that's probably close enough, right? We're in orbit. The ships aren't around. We don't have to do anything wacky like sneak around again. We can sort of just try to finish the expedition. We're going to conclude this one, and it is just a strong hit. And now we will finish expedition. Strong hit. So let me adjudicate, as now I'm typing under my face. That's always a good sign. So what does a strong hit do for me? Finish an expedition, strong hit. You reach your destination. So we dock with. We're gonna dock with the Exile Station. Complete your survey. Mark a reward on your discovery track. It's troublesome, so we only get 1 point, and that's fine. Right, we get 1 mark, I believe, right? 1 tick. We get a single tick. Yeah, 1 tick. Done. Nice. And we can modify and delete. Done. So here's the question. Here's the question we all. So I am going to, with a, aiming my antenna in a tight beam so that we're not broadcasting to the universe where we are again. They might search for us, of course, and I assume they will. Um, but at the moment, they don't know where we're at. So we have several hours to not even think about them. And that's assuming they see us in the first place. So we arrive at the station. Is there, so let me pause real quick. So, I mean, I sort of need a yes or no answer, right? Is anyone here? So what does this place look like? Does it look inhabited? I know the third deck is lost. So I'm picturing like a cylinder. I'm picturing sort of a cylinder. So I'm going to draw it here. Hold on. So I'll draw it for you a little bit. Freehand, right? I'm picturing a cylinder with an upper ring, a bigger middle ring, and a third ring. That's a really great drawing. These two rings, the top and bottom, are the same size, but they're smaller than the middle ring. The middle ring is bigger. I know that this ring, according to what they said, is lost, quote unquote. They've lost access to it. So this is dark for sure. That's quite the R there. But are these two lit? What's the state here? Oh gosh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say, so we're gonna use our D12 oracles instead. I mean, we sort of do this in our other games. So let's make some chances. How about on 10 or 11 or 12, everything looks fine. Right? So 10, 11, 12. Finish expedition, strong hit. We are approaching exile station with the intent to dock. We hail them. And we have they've lost track of us. We have several hours before we have to worry about them. I don't know what several hours is. Let's roll 3d6 for giggles. 8, at least 8. Right? So we have at least 8 hours. They're gone. We're good to go. So we're going to hail the station. And what's it look like, right? We hail them. Look at the station. Exile station. Is anyone there? So I'm going to say on a 10 through 12, everything looks fine. Right? So that's 3 in 12 chance. They've got a chance that everything is good. 7, 8, 9. It is in disrepair, but seems falling apart. Let's put it that way. Falling apart, but it's inhabited. So that's going to give us a full 50% chance at this, right? So yeah, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a full 50% chance that this thing is inhabited. So that's a good yes, no, oracle kind of right thing going on. 1 or 2, dead. No lights, no sensor readings. No signs of activity. Uh, is that it? Or do we just want to do 1 through 6, it's dead? That's a little depressing if 1 through 6 is dead. How about we do this? How about we do, so let's get, so 5 or 6, it is dark and quiet. Trace signs of life and or activity. And then we'll go 1 through 4, it looks dark. Right? I think that's fair. Because remember, we got the message. It was years ago. So who the hell knows? However, there's still ships here. They're still interdicting this base. So why? Right? So we roll 1d12. And obviously I'm hoping for a high number because we want to get here in time to save someone or do some good. But maybe we're exploring instead. 8. Okay. It is falling apart. But it is inhabited. So, we're going to say, obviously, that the third ring is just, it's there, is there, but damaged and dark. First 2 rings are in major disrepair. And some of the station is dark / flickering electrics. There are probably a couple radiators and sensor arrays that are obviously broken or hanging by cables. Right? So this thing is a mess. But the first 2 decks, the first 2 rings at least have something going on. And when I call, I do get a response. Do I? Do I? Do I? Oh. So I call. So Sister Light calls to them. Does anyone respond? I'm going to say it is reasonably likely that someone responds. So we're going to say 1 through 4, no one responds. Everything else, someone responds. 12. They absolutely do respond, and they seem happy. So I call in, right? This is Nijme Light. I'm here responding to your distress call, and someone, sister, my name is Ilveni. We are who are they? So I need a name. We are the we are, we're just going to call them the exiles for now. We are so glad to hear from you. Do they have the ability to I'm gonna say that they do not have like a lot of a control over, say, like the docking, because that would be done from the outside, right? This is like their prison here. Um, so they cannot necessarily control the docking apparatus, but we probably can. We're so glad to hear from you. I'm afraid we cannot assist you with docking, but you should find that it follows a standard protocol. Please dock. I just put, so please dock, and we'll talk. And so she asks, is Yaroslav there? Sadly, no. Uh, Let me roll on like an 11 or 12. No. Okay. Sadly, no. He was my father. He passed some time ago. They probably space. Well, we'll get to that in a bit. So we're gonna dock the Aethon with Exile Station, and that's where we'll end our first episode, our first real episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you didn't cringe too hard. If you've played this game before, I hope you're not miserable watching me. Please, tell me if you have any tips or any, suggestions. I'm all for it. This was episode 1, Echoes of our Starforged campaign. Hope to see you again later. Please like and subscribe. Comment. I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and we will see you in a couple days.